smallest engines in use by the RAF, and therefore the lowest blast. Well, as you've seen, quite a percentage of the debris ends up in the net, and depending on weight and size, at different heights. Oh, really, Miss Body, you're becoming a hazard yourself.
I'm sorry, Dr. FOD.
We've known pieces of debris being blown by jet exhaust to a height of 10 feet. Just think of that. Well, having seen the effects of the exhaust blast, let's explore the areas where this hazard exists. For instance, a good way to pick up debris is by 2 or more aircraft taxiing towards the runway in too close a proximity. Even if they stagger their relative positions on the turn, there must be a time when the following aircraft gets the full blast. Then there's the good, time-honored formation takeoff. Normally, because of the stagger, any material kicked up by the lead aircraft would pass harmlessly by. But bring in a crosswind factor, and the debris is deflected into the path of the following aircraft. Sometimes the formation takeoff is an operational requirement. Well, then it is essential to pre-brief very carefully to ensure that a critical stagger between the aircraft does not develop. It's worth a thought. It's not just the cost of the removal, transportation back to the manufacturers, and refit of the engine, but also the possible loss of life. What sort of material causes this damage? Well, it ranges from this ring from a Coke tin to debris from an aircraft. In fact, the smaller the material, the harder it is to trace, and the more dangerous it becomes. And how do these pieces get onto the taxiways and runways? Well, the list is endless. The use of close-tread tires on vehicles that have to go on taxiways is a good way of spreading the debris about. Also, bits that are left lying around the inside of cars and trucks and can get kicked out is another. No one deliberately sets out to leave bits on the runway, but it's so easy to do it without even knowing. The only safeguard is to check each vehicle constantly. Once the FOD is there, what can be done about it? Well, it can be swept up by the Bedford Laker. But not like that. What in the name of sanity do you think you're doing?
I'm sorry, Dr. FOD, but I can't quite get the hang of the gears. Shall I have another try?
No, please step down. Airman, please take over. The correct way to sweep is slowly, as this airman is about to, taking care to overlap each run and progressing in the direction of the wind so that any material is blown into the area about to be swept. Even when an area has been correctly mechanically swept, it's amazing the bits and pieces that can still be found. There are places where the sweeper just can't reach. So, Miss Bonnie, you know what to do. Good girl.
Oh, why do I always get the dull jobs? Oh, well. Look what I found.
Yes, well, I think that proves our point, don't you? Well, carry on, see what else you can find.
Oh, dear.
Apart from regular sweeping, we thought that each station ought to work out its own priority sweeping areas because each station has its own particular needs. For instance, it might be necessary to sweep this area only once a week, whereas it might be an advantage to sweep this ASP 2 or 3 times a day. Each airfield has its own traffic problems. Relative to this, radio contact between the runway sweeper and air traffic control is absolutely essential to enable the sweeper to be redirected at a moment's notice to high-risk areas for short, controlled spells. Well, what do you think of it so far?
Rubbish.
Oh, then at least one person has got the message, because that's what it's all about. Rubbish. Oh, not now, Miss Bonnie. Oh, please. Then there's the question of people being downright careless to be taken into account. The shadow tool board has helped to a large extent to stop actual tools being left in aircraft, but accidents can still happen.
Oh, good afternoon, Dave. From 316 to Footwoods, please.
So, Colin, how many do you want, mate?
Oh, a big handful, please. I've got a large repair to do.
1 minute then, please. There we are, Colin. How's that?
Oh, that'll do fine. Thanks so much indeed, Dave.
All right. See you, mate.
Yeah, see you later. Cheers.
No set number of rivets were drawn from the stores, so the mechanic has no way of checking